Welcome to Little Conversations Today. We are very excited to present
Wow, that's very interesting. And one other thing that really sparked my attention was your second, the second thing you mentioned, where you said the psychological portion of it. Can you get a bit more in depth on that? Because I know that I could probably speak for everyone watching this video. It's, you know, you get off to this great start, and they've got, you know, programs out there like Isogenics and all these other ones for people that are trying to lose weight. Another friend of mine, Dr. Trevor Cottrell, calls it more of a kickstart. He says it's not something you go, he says, but if you need a kickstart to get that psychological portion of, you know, I'm actually losing weight, I'm doing something good, because just going to a gym can take some people a long time because they don't change their eating habits, and their psychological portion of it where, you know, they're watching a movie, so let's have some popcorn instead of some carrots, let's say. Can you get a little bit more in depth into the psychological portion of living a healthy lifestyle?
Yeah, it really starts with changing your orientation towards health. See, everything I heard you say are people trying to get away from something they don't want. But basically, that's what we're good at Americans and Canadians. We're good at problem solving. That's what we do every day. We get up in the morning, we solve lots of problems. But solving a problem doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't create anything in your life. It simply gets rid of something you don't want. See, I change people's orientation, Dan, around focusing on what they want, organizing their life around what matters most to them. And just like freedom, it's not until it's gone that you really realize how much it matters. I focus on health as being that same level of a priority. See, it takes a little time now to become mindful and make the daily choices that support health. And I can tell you, as a critical care physician, or spend the last half of your life being sick all the time. And being sick is a lot more work than it is being healthy, a lot more work. Going to the doctor, taking pills, needing surgeries, all these things that come with it, debilitation, not being able to do the things you want to do. So what, in essence, we start off as saying, listen, we want to help you organize your life around what matters. One of those priorities is reaching a healthy weight, then moving forward and creating optimal health. See, we're not in the weight loss business. I'm in the creating health business. And when that happens, what happens is then psychologically, you're focusing on the choices, so you're making choices that support your long-term goals, which is to create health. See, a weight loss or on a diet, the why they don't work psychologically is someone is usually going on it because, you know, they were at a party and a button flew off and almost killed somebody. It was their sign from God, oh, I've got to get on a program, right? So the first of the year, they get on an exercise program. They go 2 months. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. They don't see enough results. They say, listen, I'm tired. I don't have enough time to do this. I'm not seeing any result, and they quit. So the whole point is to find out what are the goals and then reach towards those goals. And then through what I call structural dynamics, using the process of figuring out what you want, knowing where you are, put down the action steps necessary to do that and the due dates, and then move forward, evaluate, go into action, start doing what you're doing. If it's not working, then correct, make the corrections, and go back and do it again. So what we do is we put people continually focus on what they want, not what they don't want, because life always gets in the way. And someone's going to say, well, I've got this birthday party coming up, or I have this Christmas, or I have this Thanksgiving, or I have Mother's Day, or whatever it is. Listen, life is intrinsically unstable unless you become mindful and start making the choices. And the choices are easy. We just talked about you becoming aware of the grocery store. Now you're understanding the coffee. So what I did was I took the Habit Cell system and created a comprehensive approach looking at all the daily choices. And in fact, there's a questionnaire you take. Look, and you answer all these questions in terms of your lifestyle, your movement, your leisure activity, how you eat, how you sleep, how you handle stress. And what we do is we give you a score and shows you how healthy you are and what path you're on. 95% of people in the world are on a path moving towards disease. They're not mindful of, listen, our design is to conserve and store energy. 10,000 years ago, it served us. Now it's absolutely not serving us. And because food has gone from energy sparse when it was important 10,000 years ago to now energy dense, you have a 100% chance of bagging food when you go to your kitchen, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so the whole deal there is you go to your kitchen and you get food. Well, 10,000 years ago, you had to go out and work and expend a lot of calories to find nutrition that was not very dense, had lots of nutritional value, but not much energy in it. So today, we need to be mindful of all our choices. It makes a big difference. So what I do is I basically focus on from the psychological part is understanding this. We want to be volitional. We want to do things of our own free will. So what I do is I always sit down with somebody and find out what they really want. What do they want in terms of their life? And if you give a blank piece of paper, you can write down what you want. People want to be healthy. They want to be thriving. They want to be able to do the sports and things they want to do. They want to be able to play with their grandkids. They want to be able to fly on planes without having a double extender. Yep. So I say, okay, let's focus on what you really want. And then let's sit down and in place, make sure that we're every day making more of your choices. I'm talking about in baby steps. I'm not talking about, make yourself the perfect human being overnight. But I'm saying in baby steps, move forward so that every day we're starting to develop habits that support health versus these habits of disease that we naturally come to. The food industry and society in general, even in the medical community, which, I'm a part of, basically we react to disease. So we would say, if you're a diabetic, we would say something like, Sally, you've got to get your blood sugar under control or you're going to lose your eyesight. Okay? That is an emotional attachment. That is a control way of approaching. That's a one-up down with like the parent and the student, or in the child, or the teacher and the student, or the doctor and the patient. That's telling them what to do. It doesn't work. What happens is they get, emotionally or upset. They have conflict. They go out and they start on the program. All these things you talked about, getting on a diet. And what happens is they start on it. They didn't feel good. They start on it. They start feeling better. And because they're feeling better, it leads to less action.
Yes.
See? So they yo-yo. What I do is I say, listen, we're going to start, and our end point is to first reach a healthy weight. When you reach a healthy weight, you're not going to go out to Outback Steakhouse and have a bloomin' onion. You're going to now focus on the next steps and moving towards optimal health. Because if you don't make daily choices and change your orientation, a diet does not work because it's a short period of time. And even if you're successful in losing weight, once you stop, if you haven't changed your orientation and all your daily choices throughout everything else you're doing, you're not going to have long-term success. Mm-hmm. Simple as that.
Yeah. And like you said at the beginning, it's typically when you talk about diets, they gain it back and more.
And more.
Yeah. And I mean, Bob Proctor, a mentor of mine, always says, what you focus on is what you create. And so does Brian, good friend of both of ours. Brian Breyer also says, what you focus on is what you create. And if you focus on simply weight, you're going to create weight. Is that, and I mean, if you go to the gym and you start exercising and you eat healthy for 3 months and then you stop. I used to be a bodybuilder, and I know within a year of finishing competing, my health habits changed. I wasn't exercising. I got into transportation at that point in my life, and I was the middleman in transportation, and time just seemed to whoosh. And then at the end of the day, I'm way too exhausted to go to the gym mentally, and all these excuses start coming up. And within 6 months, I had a gut again because I figured I knew, but you never keep up that education. As personally, I didn't keep up the education, and a lot of people out there probably don't either. So it does. It creates you get down on yourself, you get down on what you're doing, your mood changes, everything starts changing because dynamically in your body, would you not agree that the chemical composition starts changing when you stop exercising, you stop eating properly?
Yeah, and you know what? There's a lot of stuff that's going on, but it really comes down to this, Dan. Mm-hmm. Number one, you got to understand. You got to have knowledge to understand what and bring it into mindfulness. 2, you have to have tools to help you. And 3, you need support. That's it. What I've done to find, in other words, I've asked that question every day for 10 years now. What can I do to help people move forward? Well, first, it has to be intrinsically motivated. They have to do it of their own free will. They got to want to get better at it, like it, and it won't matter so much to them that they get good at it. So you have to become good at it. And the third part is relating by reaching out and helping others. If you do those 3 things together, what happens? It becomes intrinsic to you. That's the first part. The second part is you got to have a system where you understand simply, how do I move forward, not just as an exercise enthusiast or a diet enthusiast, but how do I now make it a focus? So rather than you focus on going to the gym to hopefully lose some weight, what I would have said is, listen, Dan, let's focus on helping you create optimal health. And one of those components you recognize is the gym. Okay, so now it doesn't become this thing that I oughta or I shoulda go do that. I'm doing that intrinsically because I want to. See, when you know what you want and you have the desired outcome, then you're going to do it freely volitional. What happens is people think, I'm going on a diet, I'm restricting things, I'm not having the pleasure I normally would, and woe's me, and you know what, I'm going to sneak something because I deserve it. See, that's the whole wrong orientation because nothing tastes as good as thin feels. If we basically put you in focus where you have a thriving life, I eat everything I want. I can eat anything, but I can tell you 99% of the time, the choices I make that goes in my mouth or the way I move my body, I basically normally eat. I don't eat bread except for when I'm in New York. If I'm in New York, I'm going to have some great Italian bread. But I don't have it every day because I know it's high glycemic. It's going to add calories, add fat, turn on insulin, not feel good, all the wrong things. Same thing with activity. I'm not an exercise enthusiast. I don't like going to the gym, but I can tell you I travel a lot. And even today, every day, what I do is I'll go out and I'll basically walk. When on an airplane, I walk the stairs. I don't use the escalators. I don't use the elevators. I never use the long carryways. I carry my own bags. I don't roll them. I carry them. And so I'm every day at all my little points, I'm just saying no to machines and I'm doing them myself. I wash my own dishes. I don't put them in the dishwasher. And all these little things add up and they become very natural and actually they're very fulfilling and it gets us more connected with our environment. It's not about making this huge breakthrough. There's not going to be a pill coming that's going to get you to a healthy weight. There's a pill right now, Conexa, that they're trying to deliver that people are going to wait for. But if you don't change your lifestyle, if you don't learn the habits of health, you're not going to have long-term success. And pills by themselves have side effects. So basically, in fact, this pill, if it does get approved, requires you to have a lifestyle change and to be on a comprehensive diet. So it just doesn't make any sense. So the whole point is for people is you have to make the decision and then move forward and have the support. And basically what I do is surround myself with like-minded people. If you got 3 friends that are going out and eating buffalo wings and drinking beers every week, okay, probably you're going to have to say, you know what, I like you guys, but I've made a different choice, a lifestyle choice. And that is I'm going to get healthy.